Hello, welcome everybody. Today we're going to be going through an overview of Acumatica, the Construction Edition, and got our agenda up here on the screen. We're going to talk a little bit about Action, talk a little bit about some of the important things and differences with Acumatica. And then we're going to hand it over to Bronwyn Duprey, who's going to take us through a demo, a live demo. And then we'll wrap up and do some Q&A. My name is Bob Black. I'm the Division Vice President for the Multi-Industry Division at Action. That is the division that sells, implements, and services the Acumatica products. So, it's named multi-industry because it does many things well. I think that's always kind of an important thing to clarify about that. So a little bit about Action. Action is a full-service wholesaler, reseller. Why can't this? There we go. We're one of the top resellers in the nation. We're about 45 million in annual revenue. We are full service, which means we do software implementation, we do support, we do infrastructure, we do hosting, we do managed services. A whole scope of different services that we provide. When you talk about moving to the cloud, one of the important things is asking the question: are we ready for the cloud? Is our infrastructure, is our office, is our desktop set up for the cloud? Those are all important questions we try and come alongside and help answer for you as part of working with Action. We're nearly 200 employees. I think we just had another recent acquisition, so I think we're over 200 employees, 6,000 customers, a number of recognitions that we've got here. We're very involved in distribution, manufacturing, construction, architectural engineering, some of the project-based accounting companies. We have 2 company-owned data centers, so that's we replicate back and forth between the 2 with primaries, workloads in each data center. And we're about number 15. I think we're moving up the list on the Bob Scott VAR 100 list, and I think we're 15 as of 2022, give or take. So here we are into the multi-industry division. Software solutions include the Construction Edition, Distribution Edition, Manufacturing Edition, and the Commerce Edition, which is also point of sale and e-commerce. So we are Acumatica certified, gold certified, one of the larger partners. So now we're into kind of the Acumatica slide deck. So they've got a core set of applications that are part of their base. All they're laid out here. These are foundational type things that go across all applications. Financial management, number of different features here. I'm not going to go down these all, but very modern, very open application, which we'll come back to that in one of our future slides. Financial reporting, intercompany accounting, multi-currency. It does a lot of things really well. We're yet to find something in financial management that it doesn't do, to be honest. So, then we've got the editions. So these are different editions that are sold by Acumatica, and again, they kind of line up with our different customer focuses that we are also implementing and servicing. General Edition, which is just kind of the basic accounting. Someone needs just accounting only. Construction Edition, job cost accounting, distribution with inventory management and warehousing. The Manufacturing Edition, which then has the bills of material, production schedule, and finished goods. And the Retail E-commerce Edition, which is going to have a web front end. It's going to manage your items. It's going to then take orders over through a website, and then your distribution kind of back office is the fulfillment side of that. And here's some more details inside each of these different editions, kind of show you some of their strengths. It's important to note that these are all editions that are built within the Acumatica platform. And again, we'll talk about the platform in a future slide here. But it's robust. They're integrated. They go cross application. I think the the prospect that we have on the phone today is a construction. So we'll leave this slide up a little bit longer. It manages retainage, it project manages, it does payroll, including prevailing wages and unions, job cost accounting. Obviously, it does all that. And there's a fairly recent property management option that is something that it manages. Distribution, inventory, order management, multiple costing methods, drop shipments, warehouse management. It does have barcode scanning to receive, move, and cycle count, and pick, pack, and ship inventory. The manufacturing edition has another barcode enabled application where we can collect data on the shop floor. We have multi-center, multi-level bills of material, MRP. So a look into what materials do I need to run my schedule of production. That's a very important step of the manufacturing process. And integrated quality management is another really great feature. A number of our customers are utilizing that today. Few awards we're going to talk about. This one is the Acumatica is a leader in the mid-market cloud ERP. Acumatica has got the little box around it there. We're in the quadrant. That's in the quadrant that it needs to be, and it's also in the right direction. We're up there with a lot of the larger, more complex, more legacy, if you will, applications. Got a few more slides to show you about. So this is I think one of my favorites. This is where Acumatica falls within the nucleus research. So up and down vertical are the usability features within Acumatica. Left to right is the functionality features. So Acumatica is, as you can tell on this graph, it's the #1 usability ERP system with all the large ERPs that are out here. And its direction, you can see, is strictly, we're #1 in usability, and we're just going fast as we can into the functionality side of things. I think that's a great graphic that kind of shows you exactly where Acumatica fits in everything. Why it is the largest growing cloud ERP system in existence today. A few more awards. There's a web page on the Acumatica website that talks about their awards. Very close. They work very close with the analysts that run these different studies. 8,000 plus customers worldwide. Really nice number. As we've been a partner since 2015, we've seen this number grow. I think the year we started, we were at 1,500, and we just made 2,000. So now we're 4 times that. So numbers keep going up here. So Acumatica, part of getting into Acumatica is joining a community, and that community talks a lot, and we take surveys, and understanding satisfaction within the customer base is also a very important element from Acumatica, and you can see that they are very well accepted by their customer base, including the growth aspect. Strategic partnerships. So there's a couple different options. The majority of our customers are in the Amazon cloud, so that's the SaaS licensing. But Microsoft Azure is another platform. If you wanted to do some of your own hosting or your own cloud, private cloud they call that, those are certainly options also. But lots of options on where we can run Acumatica. Few integrated solutions here. A couple of these might be interesting to you. DocuSign, Adobe Sign, Shopify e-commerce, BigCommerce, payment gateways, shipping solutions. There's a number of different integrations, and of course, in the construction world, the Procore integration is one of the main integrations there also. Again, the Acumatica ecosystem that you kind of join when you join the Acumatica is a robust set of third-party products also. It's a bit of an eye chart, but part of Actions role is to, help sort through what are the good ISVs, what are the good products, the third-party products, what's the best fit. I mean, because many times there's multiple choices for solutions out there, depending on what you're looking for. But having some experience in these areas, learning the hard way a few times, I guess we want to prevent anybody from making that same wrong choice that we made for in the past. Again, part of the community concept, free training. This is the open university. Partners go through a training classes. There is also a separate training class for customers, and that includes development training. So there is some robust training, and that's part of being in the community. People who are prospects even sometimes will come out and join the community and start taking some classes to kind of learn more about Acumatica during the vetting process. Yeah, excellent security. Acumatica was built from the ground up to be a web-based application, and to date, they have not had a successful ransomware attack on any of their environments. So they were built from the ground up to be a secure, robust application. So this is the platform, if you will, the overlay of the platform. So, up on top, we've got some of the different third parties that can be connected to Acumatica. That the next section down is the additions, so all the additions and some of the best-in-class modules that we talked about earlier. Down below that is the cloud platform. It's a very, very interesting story about Acumatica and how it got started. It literally was started off as a web-based platform first. So, the design team got together and built a platform for future web development, whatever that might be. And when they got done with it, they said to themselves, gosh, we've got a really good set of tools here that we could simply build our own ERP on top of. And that's what they wound up exactly doing. So they went out and they leveraged their cloud platform. They started making relationships with Microsoft, and many of the executives with Acumatica were formerly with Microsoft. So they built a Microsoft-based ERP on top of that, which was the Solomon, the old Dynamics Solomon application. So that's where the project accounting comes in, which then leads to the ability to do the construction edition, et cetera. So it's only grown since then, and with the cloud platform is now sold as an OEM product over to other software vendors that want to modernize. So it really is a unique part of this, and it many cloud applications are a multi-tenant. Signing up for Acumatica and working in an Acumatica environment gives you the ability to have your own virtual environment. So that's part of this cloud foundation that they build, is that it can be a virtual environment, so that we can customize, we can integrate, we can do what we need to in just your environment, and not affect anybody else. If there's an upgrade that maybe doesn't make sense, you want to skip it, then you can possibly do that. Whereas the multi-tenant environments are always upgraded as take it or leave it, you have to upgrade. Underneath all that's obviously a very common tech stack that includes .NET, C#, SQL, and those are all the foundation, which are the tools that were used to build everything above it. So again, it's a very modern, one of the most modern ERPs available anywhere, and it's by far one of the most user-friendly that you'll see. It's being a web-based application. Being a web-based application, you've got a number of different devices that's available. You can access it from any device, anywhere, right? So it's not in your building. It's on the internet, so you can get out to anywhere from a phone, from a tablet, from a PC, from your watch, and even Alexa. There's some Alexa integrations that allow for that. Flexible deployment options. We talked a little about earlier. We got the public cloud, which is managed by Acumatica. When it's time to do the upgrades, when it's time to do much of the maintenance, that entire infrastructure is managed by AWS and Acumatica. you can also do a private cloud. So that is an important option. Some people take advantage of that, but not many. There's a very relatively small difference between the private cloud and the SaaS application cost. So it really makes sense just to let Acumatica manage it. So licensing, many applications allow for a user count. Acumatica has taken that model and thrown it completely out the window. They look at some of your business documents and say, so you've got 8 different commercial documents that they look at, and that's your user count, if you will. That's how the license is sized. So if you have some people in the warehouse, people on the road, executives, and maybe don't spend a lot of time in the office, they all get a sign on too. And you're never going to get someone saying that your user count's used up and you can't have another person log in. So this licensing has been very well received and grows with you as you need it. So as you double your business, you add some more license. You don't have to move your application. You just simply add some more resources and keep on working. So it's a great, and it's been very well received in our customer base as well. Customer Bill of Rights. This is unique, I think, and it's also very comprehensive. This is a commitment from the Acumatica executive team to all of its customers, every single one of them. It talks about data rights. It talks about access. It talks about maximum increases in annual fees. There's a number of really good things. This is a document, of course, we can share with you after we're engaged with you when your sales rep reaches out to you. Dual layers of support. So Acumatica, when you sign up for Acumatica SaaS, you get support, basic support, and then the VAR. That's our role as your evaluated reseller. We're here to support you as well. We would normally take most of your calls during the implementation. Some people are more self-sufficient. They'll go directly to Acumatica for their own support, or they'll come back to us and they continue to work with us when things are needed. Error messages, report changes, document changes, whatever's needed. We're still around to support the implementation. Yeah, and this is I think a point we made earlier, the cross-module workflows. When you've got one set of inventory being shared by the field service, the construction, the sales order entry, the manufacturing, the e-commerce site, that's shared information across the entire application. So know that these modules, although they're modular and they're unique, and you can only buy, you can buy just construction if you want. But when that day you need inventory, that day you might need to manufacture something, that day you might need to do some field service. Those are all things that can be added on later on. Back to the multi-industry messaging. With that, I know that was a lot. Pause there for a second. Lauren, do we have any questions on any of that we've talked about?
Yeah, I was just going to ask, Todd was asking if you could go into a little bit more detail about Net Promoter Score and what that means.
Sure. Yeah, so, Net Promoter Score is a method that Acumatica and Action also uses. So we want your feedback, and Acumatica wants your feedback. So ultimately, depending on how you answer a set of questions, then that will give you a score, right? And then whether you're a promoter, whether you're okay but you're really not ready to be a promoter, whether you're dissatisfied, those are all different levels of score that can be assigned based on the answers to your question. And many of the questions can be specific about how is your partner doing? Are you having problems within Acumatica? Is there anything that you need from a sales perspective that would help you? Things like that. Some of these questions can have categories to them as well. So ultimately, bottom line, we want happy customers. We want good fit for someone we're working with to be on the right application, with the right implementation. We want someone to then to be make it through the implementation and satisfied with their implementation, and partner with Action and work closely together, and then become that referenceable customer someday. That's our ultimate goal, is to get you through the process, make you happy, and then have you referenceable for us and for Acumatica someday. Hopefully that answers the question.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks, Bob. Okay, Bronwyn, I am going to switch over and give you the power.
Okay, thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Bob.
You are welcome. Looks good.
Okay, great. So as Bob mentioned, this is the landing page that I have. We have a landing page when you sign on to Acumatica, and it can be defined by user, which we'll get into in a little bit. But a couple features I wanted to point out. As Bob mentioned, you have your own URL. So this is available from a browser. It's browser agnostic. It's device agnostic. So mobiles, laptops, as he mentioned, watches, anything that can get to this URL. We also have a mobile app. Across the bar here, this is some of the title information. This is your logo. So the logo would appear here, and I kind of call it my home page or my escape. If I click that, no matter where I am in the system, it's going to come back to this home page, and it's going to refresh your dashboards. Acumatica can have multiple companies as well as multiple branches. So we can handle in one database various companies and branches. This also is basically explains your date and time. As you can see, I have right here 9:21, so I'm 3 hours behind, and that's because my user profile is operating in the Pacific time. I'm actually in the Eastern time zone, so I can click here. This is how I'm logged in. I'm logged in as my admin, and I'm logged into my construction company database. If I click on my profile, it takes me to my profile specifically, and these are changes that I can make to for me, and they are specific to my logon. So I could come down here and I can apply that I'm actually in the Eastern time zone. Also note that I have a home page here called Project Overview Dashboard. So each individual user can have their own dashboard that they see when they log in, and each individual user can also have a default branch or company that they are logging into. And when I updated that and saved it, you can see I'm now operating in the Eastern time zone. A couple other customizable pieces of information that a user can do. Again, I mentioned the home page and your logo, so we can have your logo in here. In addition, I can have some preferences for my site. So I can go look at my site preferences and indicate, say, what my banner color is. So if I don't like this banner color and I want to make it something that would be more applicable, say, to my company colors and my logo, I can do that. And again, when I change it, it'll change that logo. Or I'm sorry, the colors. I can also change and set a home page for the specific company. So again, this is Project Overview Dashboard. I can have that set as a different home page so that if a specific user doesn't set their home page, then I can have one that the whole company sees. Okay, and again, I'm going to qualify that a lot of this is said these changes can be made with the proper security. We can also change the fonts. We can change some colors and put some borders around. You can change fonts in a header or a body. So again, a lot of changes that can happen, and you can set this up so that your users have an experience across the company no matter where they're logged in. So again, I'm coming back to my home page each time simply by clicking this. This is what we call our dashboard. And we have several that are designed based on roles, but your dashboard can be user specific. In addition, if they have the right security, your user can design their own dashboard. And it's basically made up of widgets that are based on inquiries. And so I have a series of widgets here, some that are tables, some that are donut charts. Here we have some bar charts. Vertical bar charts, horizontal bar charts. I can add a new widget simply by attaching it to an inquiry. And then also this, we can have interaction with a web page. So I'm actually interacting, I'm going to clear this design. I'm actually interacting with a camera that's out at my job site. And as you can see, I can scan and maximize or zoom in or zoom out. And then I can also interact with that website and their particular menu. Okay. We do have other dashboards. I'm going to come up here to my favorites. So another dashboard we have a customer view. And one of the differences here is this one happens to interact with a filter. So I can actually filter these widgets. Right now, it's not filtered at all. If I want to filter it, say my bartending school, I can click that and look for that. And then now it's filtering it for just that particular customer. And I can make all the widgets filter on that or just some of the widgets filter on that particular customer. And again, when I delete it, then it goes back to being an unfiltered dashboard. And again, here I have these KPIs that are color coded. So this one's okay, this one's a problem. This one looks like it might be more in the middle. But again, I can see what 7 late orders I have simply by clicking on that. And then it shows me exactly what those orders are. And then with a hyperlink, I can drill down further into those orders. So again, those are based on, I'm sorry, there we go. I had part of my WebEx there in the way. So again, these are all interactive and I can drill down into the information directly from anything that's a hyperlink or anything that goes directly to an inquiry. On the left-hand side, we have what we call our workspaces. So this is basically how you're going to navigate through the software. And if I click on a particular workspace, I have a submenu that shows me grouped by transactional. So this would be entering change requests or specific transactions. Profiles are like master file information, setting it up. I have forms, I have reports, I have inquiries. And all of our menus are grouped this way. You also see quick access tiles at the top. So if I want to go directly into entering a new change order, I can click here. I could also click here, that would take me to what we call a generic inquiry, or I could click here for also new quick access. And then notice when I hover over it, I also have keystrokes for control insert, so I don't have to use my mouse if I'm more of a keyboard person. When I click into that, it takes me, in this case, I'm going to a generic inquiry. And so when I click on that generic inquiry, I get a list of all of the change requests that are in the system. It shows me their status. I have some various columns. All of our generic inquiries can be sorted or conditioned. So here, these are being sorted descending. I can change this to sort ascending if I want. I can also change it for the status. So let's just say I want to see everything that is not closed. So if I click that, then it immediately filters that particular column out. I can quickly remove the filter. I also have the ability to drag and drop. So let's say I want my project ID more towards the front. I can simply left mouse click and drag and drop that. I also have the ability to apply filters. So again, if I want to add a status here and just say that it equals closed, and I save that, and I can just say closed, change request, or just simply call it closed. And now I have a tab. So these are all my records that I can still filter on, I can still change, I can still modify, but then I have ones that these are only my closed change requests. And again, these can be shared through your system as a public filter, or they can be user-specific filters. So if I go back to my workspace for construction, you can see at the bottom, I have this show all button. So what I'm looking at is called a quick menu, and it has some of my most common, most popular, commonly used reports, inquiries, or tasks. If I click show all, then that's going to expand. I actually have another menu group for preferences, and I added some forms, I added some inquiries, I actually added processes, and you didn't see this, but my report list got longer as well. When I click show last, my report list is not quite as long. This can all be controlled by you. So by clicking here and clicking edit my menu, anything that's checked shows up on my quick menu. Anything that isn't does not show up on the quick menu. And if I want to change that, I just simply click it to turn it on and check it to turn it on. And then I can check it to clear it. I can also move items around simply by dragging and dropping. I can change or edit their the title and the group that they're in simply by clicking on it and editing that. So again, this can all be edited by you. I'm going to exit that. I can also edit this menu again by dragging and dropping and change names of my workspaces. Another feature that we have is that you can use favorites. So on my menus, if I set projects up a lot, I can click my favorite, and let's just say I need to run my WIP quite often, so I'm going to click my report, and I might look at my project details. And then I might also need to run some financial statements, okay? Anytime I click it and there's a star, then that puts it on my favorite menu. And when I go look at my favorites menu, you can see that under my finance, I have my balance sheet and my profit and loss statement. I have projects, I have some inquiries and reports, and then I also had added my dashboards to my favorites earlier. So you could have somebody that where their landing page, instead of being a home page like the dashboard we saw, that could be this favorites page. As Bob mentioned, our security is role-based. So I'm logged in as my admin role, but if I log in as another user, then that's going to restrict what that particular user would see. So all of our user security is role-based, and then you assign by roles what that particular person can do. And it can be as detailed as, can they even see a particular record? So do they even see finance? Can they even see financial statements? As well as, do they, or can they add a vendor? Or can they add a bill? Or maybe they can just look at a vendor, but not change anything on the vendor. Maybe they can edit existing vendors but not add new. So again, it's very detailed to where you can also get down to specific fields or records if you need to. Do we have any questions so far, Lauren, or?
I haven't seen any come in yet.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
As I mentioned, you can have multiple tenants or multiple companies. So a tenant, essentially, this is the construction company, that would be, say, a database. But within that, I can break a database down into multiple companies or multiple branches for that company. Another feature, and I used it very quickly earlier, and I'll explain more what I was doing there, is we have what we call our universal search. So if I'm entering, what I did was I entered site, and this gave me everything that had the word site in it, and I used it to go out to my site preferences. Okay, so I can also enter, if I enter bills, then I can see this is where I enter my AP bills, my bills and adjustments, and I can just click directly there to go to that particular feature. But with bills, I can also go, say, to help topics, and it's going to show me every help topic that includes the word bills. So I have a bill of material, I might have bills and adjustments. I might, in this case, we're talking about vendor discounts. So again, there are various ways that you can look something up if you're not sure what menu it's on or where you want to go to find that. Another feature, I don't have any menu items to show equity, but I can also get directly to transactions and profiles. So in this case, I typed equity. I know that happens to be a customer, the equity group investors. And you can see that I have a quote out for them. I have a project here, the hotel, that is for that investor. And if I click on that, that takes me directly to that particular project. So I can go directly to a transaction. I can go to a project setup. I can, it also will look at files and help. So it's the universal search is a very quick way to look for various pieces of information in the system, okay? Another form of help besides the general help is I have what I call forms help. So up here, all of our help is online. And when I click on that, I'm happen to be on a project form. So when I click on that, I can look at different topics pertaining to a project. How do I lock a project budget? How do I bill a project? How do I even set up a project or update a project budget? Okay. It also gives me some general information, creating templates, just general information about creating or processing a budget, about billing a project. But down at the bottom, and I have what we call forms reference. And if I click on that, then I am going directly to this form, and it is showing me every field, every tab, and explains to me exactly what that information for that specific field on that specific tab, what kind of information is being populated there, and whether or not you need a specific feature, or in this case, can I go to do I have to hop to a change request to look at that? So I could click here to this hyperlink and maybe go learn more about a change request if I'm not sure what exactly that means. All of the help is wiki-based, so you can change it and you can modify it on your own, and you can put in your own specific needs for a particular field, or you can put in your own needs for a particular list of viable or options that can be used in a specific field. This is a generic inquiry. We kind of looked at one for the change request earlier, but this is a list of all of my projects, and as you can see, we have in this database, we have some filters. So these are the ones that are considered construction projects. These are the ones that are considered complete. Again, I also have one that's everything. On this generic inquiry, we also have side panels. So if I click on, let's go look at our hotel project. And if I click on the side panel for projects, that opens up the setup screen that we actually just saw in detail. So I see those summary tabs, or the different tabs, summary, tasks, revenue. So instead of opening the project, let's just say I need to look at some information or change something quickly on several projects, then I can just come in here and I can change information. So let's just say I need to change this to Maxwell Baker. And notice I'm just typing. I don't know Maxwell Baker's code. I don't know Maxwell's information, but as I just started typing, I can then click that. And I can easily make changes to the project without actually opening the project screen. I can also do the same if I have customers. So again, I'm on this hotel. My customer is the equity group. So I can come here and look at the equity group's setup. and change what I need to change. Maybe their address changed, or maybe their billing terms changed and there's a different billing address. So again, I can change that information. And as I move up and down the list, you can see that this changed to the BNR contractors because that was the different, that's the record that I'm on now. So this is dynamic and will change as you change your, what row you're on. All of our generic inquiries can be exported to Excel. So I just simply click export to Excel. Every column becomes a column. Every row becomes a row. If I have it filtered, then it will export the filtered data. You can also modify these again with your with the right security. If you're a customizer, you can customize and modify these generic inquiries. You also have the capability, there's a little column configurator here. So in this case, I have everything on the right side that I can see, everything on the left side I can't. And let's just say I want to know who modified it. I can click that, click the right arrow key, and let's say I don't care what currency, because it does handle multi-currency. And let's just say I work always in US dollars, so that's not important. I can switch those, click OK, and then it will update that information. And again, this can be by user. So some users can have that information, have different information on their inquiry than another user. We can also have pre-built filters. So again, the status here, this is a quick filter. I can clear everything and I could say I just need to see anything in planning. Let's just go with that. So now I have everything that's in a planning state. Okay, and then I can very quickly say select all and clear that filter. Anything I change up here, let's say I accidentally or on purpose say remove this quick filter, when the generic comes inquiry, when I refresh it or come back to it, that quick filter will be back because it's built into the basis of the inquiry. So you can't really hurt the inquiries that are there. You do have to go to customization to be able to change those. In our reports, so if I have a project report, and let's just say I want to run a WIP report. I actually meant to run my WIP report. So when I run this report, a couple things that here, our reports can be viewed as a PDF or exported to a PDF, or they can be exported to Excel. We also have the ability to print if you want, or you can email. And when you email a report, the report that you're sending gets attached to the end user as a PDF, so they don't have to have Acumatica in order to consume the data on that report. They're able to open it up as a PDF. We also have what we call report templates. So again, let's just say that at the end of the month, I like this to be active and complete, and I don't want anything completed prior to a certain date. I can enter that in here. I can save the template. Then I could just say this is my month end report settings, or you can call it Bob's report or Bill's report or something like that. And then you can have it set up as a default, or you can share it. If you share it, then other people can see this report. If you don't, then it's a private report for you. When I can run that report, but when I come back in to this report, that template is there. I can drop it down and it's going to change my settings. I can also schedule it to run automatically. So this is something that you can schedule to run at a certain time during the month, and it will send an email to the particular recipients if you set those up. You can edit reports with the proper security. So all of these reports can be changed and edited in the report designer that comes with Acumatica just as part of the core product. And lastly, I just wanted to show you in many of our reports, I'm going to go back to a different one, sorry about that. And I'm going to go to kind of an earlier year based on where I know my data is. So this happens to be a financial statement. Again, these can all be defined and configured by you. This is just a default that comes with Acumatica. But you can see anything that's a hyperlink I can drill into. So if I want to know my period to date sales, I simply click on that. It pulls up another report that shows the detail. This happens to be by sub-account. So we're also tracking not only by company or brands, we're tracking in this case by divisions and business lines. Again, if I want to see the detail in any one of those, I can click on it and it brings up a detail screen of that particular sale for that particular account and sub-account. And then if I wanted to see what this, I have two. One is a batch number and one is the actual AR document. So if I click here, I can see my actual AR document and drive into that particular entry that created that. And I could go here and I could drive down to the general ledger. So, and you can see that this happens to match that. So I can drive into this and I can actually see the entry that gets made. Had I started with the journal entry, I can go to view source document and that would drive me back to this. That would open up this particular document. So very easy to go from, I actually started with a financial statement, but I can start with a dashboard. I can start with various starting points and drive into the information with the hyperlinks that I have defined. We also have hyperlinks in our generic inquiries that can drive into some more of the detail if you need to. Any questions? That's just some basic formatting, basic setup functionality of Acumatica.
Yeah, Todd was asking, just wanted to know about kind of how long it takes for a page to load, since it's web-based versus having your software in-house.
Right, that's going to vary on the speed of your system. And when we have a demo, it's always slowed down a little bit because we have the WebEx and that piece involved in it. So most of the time, there's a very slight delay when you go from page to page. Sometimes when you open it up the first time, it's a little longer because it's storing it in its cache or it's storing that page behind. But then once you've opened a page, it switches to that page very quickly. The delay you're seeing here is mostly the fact that we have this WebEx on top of it.
Right. Any other questions? Okay. I don't see any more coming in yet. Okay. Could you review integration with Procore?
I can speak of it. I do not have it loaded. So our integration with Procore, basically, it will integrate with your projects, your vendors and companies, change orders, your commitment change orders, upload. And then if you want to turn it on, you can also upload vendor invoices if they come into Procore. So there are some settings that you basically determine how it behaves. And then once you have those set, and if you want to automate them, then it just automates in the background. And then we just recommend you monitor it on a periodic basis depending upon your activity. That could be daily, it could be weekly, for anything that maybe didn't sync up properly. You know,
we could, since we have Todd on and then a couple other action team members, we could just take Todd off of mute. And if you have any other questions, Todd, or have any other integration questions, we can do that. Hopefully that's okay with you. I'm going to just take you off mute. Hold on a second. All right, Todd, you can speak. Ask your questions of Bronwyn, please.
All right. Well, thanks for the presentation and thanks for the overview today on this. I have actually, in the past, I previously worked with Actions, so that was one of the reasons that I was wanting to sit in on this, because I realized I wasn't aware of the power that Acumatica had, and I felt that you guys would do a good job of explaining it. So, and I think you are. Can you kind of demonstrate a little bit what you do for the work in process to enter in a percent completion, or what a project manager might update when they're updating their estimated cost to complete, and how that then translates to the reports that you run?
Sure. So in construction, we do have cost projections.
Yeah.
And what a user will do, and usually we do train the project managers to do this. So they're going to pick their project, and we do have this revision numbered, because you can then get you can get trending for it. So again, I'm just going to say revision 1, and I'm going to give it a class. They didn't give me a class. Hang on a second.
Sure.
Taking me off the ranch here, Todd, but that's okay.
Seems like you know what you're doing, so.
We can get through it together. So again, like this might be, if we just say, I know it's late, but you know, this might be a month-end revision, right?
Yeah.
And then again, we can add budget lines, so I can just add them all if I want to this budget. And these first screens, and then again, some project managers get overwhelmed, so remember, you can take some of this out. So if you don't deal with quantities or something like that, you can take that out. But these first several columns are up through cost to complete, are generated by the system, and you can see they're grayed out. So they're simply informational. But
Right.
now, okay, I can indicate by quantity or simply by cost what I have to complete, or I can give at completion, or I can give a percent. And these are all at this point interactive. So I try to kind of make one that's real obvious, but let's go down here where people don't like to play. So here, okay, if I have a projected cost to complete, instead of the 2,000,009, I might just say it's 2 million.
Yeah, okay.
And what's going to happen is these numbers are going to change. Well, this one won't because I have no cost, but this number will change. Up here, if I say this represents 98%, okay, and if I say no, that's really only 90%, then what's going to happen is these numbers will change. That number goes up and that number goes up. So it's all interactive with your budget, but also with your commitments that you have in there. So it's taking this actual plus open commitment, right? So if I've spent something off commitment, that's going to be included in my actual. But it's also going to include any commitment that's open, because the assumption is I'm still going to spend that. Okay, so once I've created this budget, again, I release it, and that posts it to the system. Okay, and now I can run reports. If I go out to my project, I have updated those cost budgets basically on my cost budget tab. So out here, that information I fed in there has now been updated. I think we could find our 2 million down here somewhere. Yeah, there's the one I changed to 2 million. And I don't remember which one oh, here's my 90%. So that one's changed as well. And then we do have a default report that's our bonding report, that if you want it to, it will use those cost projections as part of its calculation. So when I run that report, it will, when it's looking at these percent completes, it will actually use, instead of your estimate, it will use the actual, the projection that you've used. Now the WIP report right now doesn't have that, but that's an easy change to make.
Okay.
And then based on that, you have your over and under billing that it calculates for you.
Yeah. Can you scan? Oh, there it is. Over under.
Yeah, oh, sorry, right here, over under. This just actually, these signs are backwards because bondings do it the opposite way. So these are actually all underbilled. We don't ever process billings. All of our payments, vendors are late. All of our customers are late in our demo data.
Yeah, you guys, man, this company needs some help.
Yeah, well, and I'll tell you, this hotel, I've been doing this, I think now for 4 years, this or something. This hotel is taking a long time to complete.
Completion. Okay. One of the things, I mean, obviously, our current system is not as sophisticated, and so we do a lot of exporting to Excel.
Mhm.
And we also do a lot of updating. So our work in process schedule is in Excel, as are a lot of construction companies. But do you,
Right.
it looked here like you could actually send this report and put it in Excel? Can you?
You could.
You could.
So you could export this to Excel and then open it up. I'll find out where Excel opens and I'll drag it over here for you once it's opened. Now the reports, the inquiries go to Excel quite nicely. The reports do as well. Sometimes you can get some headings and things like that that will merge pieces of information, but it's not too hateful to work with. So again, each one of those columns, so you can see here, it kind of merged these columns. You can unmerge them if you want, but basically each column becomes a column in Excel. And then you can't, but it's not interactive. So that's something that you would have to, so if I changed, my percent complete or something here, it's not necessarily going to change the rest of that.
Right. No, that would make
Okay.
sense.
Yeah.
It's just static.
It is.
Static.
It's just static information at this point. That's why some people like to export the generic inquiries, because then they can start to write their own formulas and things like that. But
Do people, so on the one that you showed me where you were entering in the percentage of completion and stuff, can you upload data? So like if you downloaded that data, can you use like an ODBC drive? I don't know.
Yep, you're saying kind of the right generic or the right information. So we have a couple options. So if I go back to this cost projection, let's just say, and again, I do this wrong every time. I'm going to start with this revision.
Okay.
I can copy it, but anytime you see, so let me just copy it so that you can, okay. Anytime you see this upload, that's where you can upload records from Excel. So it's very easy if you want to change things in Excel, or have your project managers do, create this in Excel, or have have them make their changes in Excel and have somebody come in here and upload them, you can do that. And you wouldn't necessarily need to have every one of these columns in your Excel spreadsheet, but you can easily upload from Excel. You browse, you find the file that you want to upload, and then depending upon if you name them exactly the same column headings, they'll self-map. If not, you just say this column goes here, this column goes there. They don't have to be in the same order. It doesn't matter. You're just telling it this column heading in Excel goes here.
I got it. Yeah.
So the upload can be used throughout our system. Your budgets have an upload. There are a lot of different places that have this record upload. If that's not available, or it's more efficient, we have what we call import scenarios, and those are where you were kind of talking. It's not ODBC, but you can import data as well. You just, again, you're defining who the data provider is, what the format is. So you'd say it's Excel, and then you would map your columns again, and there's a little more data manipulation and some formulas that could be written in those import scenarios and some conditions and things like that that could be put on. So if it's a lot of data that you need to do all at one time, sometimes an import scenario is available, because here you're just bringing up one project at a time, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it would depend on the use case and your scenario and your systems and how you work as to whether or not loading that one at a time works, or whether or not doing an import scenario is a better solution for you.
Okay. Well, I want to be respectful of the time. I know that we're starting to get past the 1 o'clock, but can you just add, so one of the things that we also have, like, so your cost code there, you've got it highlighted. How many digits can you have in a cost code?
That's up to you. That is
Easily.
something that can be configured by you. And I'm going to say, don't quote me on this, but I believe the maximum there is 30 characters.
Okay.
And it can be segregated into multiple segments if you want. This one happens to be segregated into what we call two segments. But you can have multiple segments, or you can have it all be one field, one segment. And again, it's up to 30 characters.
So in your example here, you've got an 03300, and that's listed 3 times. I presume that that's 3 different types of categories or something that you.
Yes, exactly. And that may be, yes.
Here we go.
So yeah, I had it. So again, I'm going to drag this over here. That might make a little more sense to where 03300, I believe, are sub and equipment. Exactly.
Does it come preloaded with a standard, what you call here account groups?
It does not. That's defined by you.
Okay. And is what is called by account group, can I redefine that as and call it something different?
You mean the title?
Yeah, like could I call account group, could that become categories for us, for example?
It could. That would be called what we call a customization. That is a very small, simple, straightforward customization. But yes, you could change the name of that.
There aren't a lot of things that we would customize or want to
Right.
change, but there's just a couple of things that would be consistent if we were to do something where we transitioned. It would just be easier for people to
Right.
understand.
It would help the transition. Yes.
A lot of the other language is pretty consistent. I mean, commitments, purchase orders, subcontracts,
Right.
labor. It's universal language.
Right.
All
Cost
right.
codes. Yeah.
Yeah, cost codes.
Right.
Yeah. Job numbers, stuff like that.
Right.
Is that the same then for project? Like I see that project number, not quoting you on this. So what is a typical job number length?
Again, I think it's 30. That's going to be the general answer for most of these, is 30 characters. Is going to be for your what I call codes.
Okay.
Okay. I would say for the most part, you can go with 30 as being the general length of those.
Okay. And it probably doesn't matter if it's what do you call it, letters or numbers?
Correct. Your
Characters.
project is alphanumeric. Not all of them are alphanumeric, but the only one I'm wondering about is our cost code, whether or not that's alphanumeric. And I could check on that for you if you want, Todd.
No, that's okay. We just use numbers for cost codes.
Yeah.
So
Most people do. So, but yes, your project's alphanumeric. This one has to be alpha, but you can certainly use numbers in there. Yeah, most of our ID codes are alphanumeric.
okay. All right. Well, now we're 4 minutes past. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And
No problem.
putting me on live so I didn't have to type.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured it was probably easier. So
Yeah.
awesome. All right. Well, thanks, Todd, for joining us.
Thanks,
I-
thanks for today. I'll
Thank
watch for some follow-up later.
All
Great.
right.
Thank you,
Sounds
Todd. I
good.
appreciate your time.
Thanks, Todd.
Okay,
Thanks,
thank you.
Bronwyn.
Bye.
Bye-bye.